Welcome back to day 3 session on Python programming. So here in day 3 session, we are going to look at operators in Python. So there are a lot of different operators in Python. So let us see one by one. So let us look into the arithmetic operators first. So what is an operator? Why it is used? So in our previous sessions, we discussed something about how to print a statement, what is a variable, how to get input from the user, all these things. So now if you want to process the data, say for example, I have two data, that is A is equals to 5 and B is equals to 10. Then if I want to add these two data, then what will I do? So I'll be taking the help of a operator. So that is what we are going to learn today. So on the first go, so let us learn about arithmetic operator. So arithmetic operator is your regular mathematics basically. So it consists of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Then there are few more things called as modulus, exponential, and floor division, etc. So what is this? So let us go see one by one. So addition is an operation you already know, which I no need to explain this, but I'll directly come to division, right? So whenever we speak about division, we have two different outputs for division whenever you do manually also. So what are those two different, like what are those two different results that you get? One is divisor, like divisor and dividend will be there as a operands basically, but your results will be quotient and the remainder, right? So whenever you divide using a division method, so you will be getting the quotient as your output. But sometimes if you want modulus, means like if you want a remainder, then you are going to use modulus. So modulus will help in getting the reminders of a particular division. Okay, and exponent is one of the other important um, operator in Python or in your mathematics also. Say for example, I want to square a number, cube a number, then I'll be using this particular exponent function, like exponent operator, that is double star, to do that particular operation. So this is all about arithmetic operators. So let us see what is relational operator is all about. So relational operators will always come with comparisons. So this is also called as a comparator operator. So in this comparison operator, there is something called as less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, then not equal to, or equal to symbols. So you can just see like how these differs from your just mathematics symbols from your Python symbols. So in Python you have to write something like this. You have your arrow things, right? So less than symbol, greater than symbol. So this is how you have to place them in the relational operators. So relational operators will always come with conditions. So we'll be using much with the conditions, which we are going to see in our next few sessions, but be aware of there is something called as relational operators also. And the next one is assignment operators. So in this assignment operators, we have, from the day one, we are trying to use this operator equal to, right? So what is the difference between double equal to and single equal to? So single equal to means it is assigning. So you are assigning some value to a variable. But at the same time, if you put double equal to, then it is not an assignment. Instead, you're trying to compare between two different entities. Okay. So that is the difference between this. So please, observe this carefully, which is very, very important going forward. Okay. Now this is equal to, and plus equal to means it is like increment operation. So increment, decrement, why it is required? For example, you will be playing a game, you have some score. So initially you will be having 0, right, in your score, and as and when you just progress further, you will be increasing your score. So how to increase that score? So you will increase the score by this particular operator called as increment operator, plus equal to, and this is how it works. And it is equivalent expression that is given here, like if it is m is a score, and if I want to increase that score by 10, so the previous value of m is like 10, and maybe it can be 15. So now 15 plus 10 will be 25, something like that. Like that we can just keep doing it. Say for example, they have already given, right, m is equals to 15, and the same value we can put and we can get the results. So this is how this works. And here we can just majorly concentrate on these three functions. And these functions again, these operators again, it will be used during some logic building exercises. So there we can take help of the other operators, but let us concentrate mainly on these first three operators, that is equal to, increment operator, decrement operator. Okay, so this is called as assignment operators. And at last we are trying to see logical operators. So in logical operators we have three different types: AND operator, OR operator, and NOT operator, which I'm not going to cover in this particular session, but in our future sessions we'll be like covering this particular AND or NOT. So today we'll majorly look into arithmetic operators. Okay, but these are the different type of operators which we are covering. So please be aware of, there is a arithmetic operators, relational operators, assignment operators, and at last logical operators. Okay, so let us get into our coding part. So using this particular using this particular arithmetic operator, so what we are going to do today? So we are going to build a calculator. So what is this calculator? We are going to build a BMI calculator. So it is something like this. So I'm going to build a BMI calculator. So let us print a welcome message for our BMI calculator. It is like this: print welcome to Python BMI calculator. So what do you mean by BMI calculator? BMI calculator is nothing but body mass index calculator. So this body mass index calculator will take some inputs from the user, like height and the weight, and then after taking the height and the weight, height in meters and weight in kgs. So this SI units are very important. You have to get the input in this SI units only. So after getting the input in this particular format, so it will calculate using some formula and it will get some results. So if the result is like 18, below 18, right? If it is like below 18, then you are considered as underweight. If you are between 18, the BMI value, if it is between 18 and 25, then you are considered as a natural person who is very healthy. But if the weight is a little more than 25 to 30, in that range, then you are considered as overweight person. But if your weight is like, if the BMI value is like more than 30 and less than 32 or 35, then you are considered as obese. You're obese person, like you're a little fat and bulky, something like that. And if you're just going more than 35 with your BMI values, then you are considered as extremely obese person. There's a lot of chances that you get heart attacks, you get some disease, etc. So we have to be like very careful at that stage. So even obese and extremely obese, which is like very a difficult stage for a human being, so they cannot run, they cannot walk, so they'll get tired easily. So this is how we can just get to know using the BMI values. So now we will see how to calculate the BMI of your own body. So let us get into this. So now I give you some small exercise. I want you guys to print, or I want you guys to get the input from the user of height and the weight by creating two variables. So this is the task for you. Just pause the video at here, just create that and come back and see this video again. Yes, I hope you people have already done it, but let us do it again. So I just want the weight. Okay, so weight is equals to input enter the weight in kgs, maybe something like this, kgs. And after this, height is equals to input, enter the height in meters. Colon and space, so that, okay, it should be inside colon and space. So why I'm doing this is I just want to present my data in a single line so that it is very good to see. Okay, for that reason I'm just trying to do this. So now before I go to the formula, let us see how to use the operator. Okay, so I have this weight and height, right? So I'll try to add this weight and height. So just for understanding the arithmetic operators, I'll just try to add and subtract, multiply, divide, and see what different results that we get. So initially I just want to print weight plus height. So I'll run it. So I'm just giving my weight as maybe it is like around 80 kgs. 80 kgs. Okay, it became 800 kgs. Okay, let it be a frictional value or imaginary value. So I'm a Jane now. So I'm 800 kgs and enter the height in meters. Since I'm a Jane, I want the height to be in like I'm 3 meters, 3.5 meters tall. Oh my God. But this is not the actual, addition, right? You might be thinking, this is 800 and the next to it 3.5 is coming like that, and this is becoming 8000 3.5, which is not a correct answer, right? So what is happening here? Let us understand. This is very, very important thing, and it's a usual mistake that we do. Okay, so whenever we input something from the user, right, so it will always be in the form of a string. So it is not in the form of an integer. So I cannot add an alphabet, right? Or I cannot add a character. I can add a numbers, right? I can add numbers, but I cannot add characters. That is what is happening here. So initially when I'm just getting the data from the user, I have to also specify to the computer saying that whenever I'm getting the data, that I have to get that in the form of a number only. So to intimate that, I have to put something like this, int, before the input, and since I've opened two brackets, while the closing part only one bracket is there, I have to close another bracket also. So this is the correct way to do it. So most of you will not put this and end up in errors, correct? So you need to just observe this, and if you are getting an error, something like syntax error, then you would have not put this end of line bracket. So that is the usual common mistake that we do. I'm also mentioning that. So again, for the height also, I'm just putting integer value like this. Maybe height, since I'm using this 3.5, there is another data type called as float. Okay, so integer means positive number, 0, negative number. So these things it will cover, but it will not cover the decimal numbers. It will not recognize the decimal numbers. So to make the computer understand the decimal numbers also, I'm trying to give this particular data type as float. Okay, so if I just put this as float, then it will start recognizing the height in meters in float values. Float values means it is a decimal points. We have decimal points like this, right? So if it is in a centimeters, I can just tell 350 centimeters, something like that. But the same thing, if I want to tell in meters, then it should be 3.5 meters. So 0.5, if I put it in int, it will not recognize. It will just take that as a 3. That's all. It will not consider that 0.5. If I want to consider that 0.5 also, then I have to put this float value. So now I can add float and int, no problem. So I can do that. Now I'll just run this code and see how it works. 80 and I'll just put my actual height, maybe 7'4". See, it is 81.74. So it is not the BMI value exactly, but I'm just trying to see how addition works here. So addition is working correctly. So now the subtraction. So again I run, I'll put some random values. Okay, I'm sorry. 2 and then it is 48. So it is working properly. But if you see, my result is also in form of a float only, because since I have used float as one of the data type here, my result is also coming in float, that is 0.0, like 48.0. This is a float number basically. Okay, it's a decimal number. So now we understood. So let us also check for multiplication. Maybe we'll take some small numbers so that we can understand it very easily. So I'll just take something like 11 times 11. So it should be 121. So yes, I'm getting that, 121. So then the division, maybe like this. I'll put the symbols. You have to observe the symbols, okay? If you have not observed, please go back to the video again and start observing that. And if I just run now, maybe 5 divided by 2, it is 2.5. So I'm getting the correct value. So my quotient is 2.5, but I'm not able to get my remainder, right? So it is not completely divisible. If I'm getting a decimal point, that means a number is not completely divisible. Means we have to borrow something and then we have to add it, something like that we have to do, correct? So then if I want to see whether that particular number is like completely divisible or not, then I have to use a modulo symbol, that is percentage symbol. Now you see, I'll put the same value 5 and 2. You can see 1 as a reminder. So when we just do this for the first time, if it is not completely divisible, you will be getting 1 as your output, and then you put the point on your quotient, then you add the 0 to the remainder, then you will get that 10 as your number, then you'll go with the process again, right? So this is how we will just do it in a manual process. But if you want to get the reminders, right, this is the way that you can get the reminder output encoding. So after learning all these things, let us get into the formula. Okay, so this is how your arithmetic operators will work. So now I want a BMI formula. So what is this BMI formula now? So BMI formula is like this. BMI is equals to weight, it should be in kgs again, weight divided by height times height square basically. So if you people are not understanding this exponents, if you have not come across this topic, exponents are some mathematical formats of representing a number basically. So this means height times height. Say for example, if I tell 2 square like this, so yeah, basically 2 square like this, the result is 4. If I expand this, it is 2 into 2. Okay, if I just put 2 cube, then 2 cross 2 cross 2. If I just put the exponent value as 4, then this is equivalent to 2 cross 2 cross 2 cross 2. I hope you are getting this pattern, right? So whatever the number here, so many times the base value should be multiplied. So this is called as a base and this is called as a power. So this is base, the 2 is base and 4 is power. So this is how we denote it in mathematics. Okay, so how much ever times the power is, so many times I have to multiply the base. So that's why I'm doing this particular action. So if you just calculate 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8, 8 2s are 16. So the answer for this particular 2 power 4 will be 16. So now now what you can do is you can also represent this height like this. Otherwise you can also represent it height cross height, because the power is 2, so I have to multiply the base for 2 times with the same values. Like I've just done this. So you can also represent this way. If you're comfortable using the exponents, you can also use this way, cross 2. I'll go with this way, okay? And this is the actual value of your actual formula of your BMI. So now I have already wrote the formula, right? So I have wrote the formula. If you observe, I have just used the same variables that I have. So now after writing the formula, I'll just print the BMI value. The BMI of your body is, I'll just use the F string method, BMI. I'll put one F here so that it is very easy for me. And you can follow any different method that you want. Okay, I'm using this method. And then if I run this, I have to enter the weight in kgs. Now I'm just entering the proper weight and proper height, 7.4. Yes, it is telling your BMI of your body, the BMI of your body is 26.42. So this is my BMI, means like I'm slightly overweight, because the normal weight is, if I'm normal, then the value should be within like 25. So I'm not, so it is like 26.42. So I'm a little overweight, I have to reduce my weight. That's how I'll get to know, right? So now you can start calculating your BMI values, and you can enjoy this, and you can try with your friends and family. So, and we are going to extend this code in our next session, by just telling that you're overweight, you're underweight, and also you can suggest a few medical tips to them. So let us see that in our next session. Till then, bye, take care.